Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. I'm still following the article, How They Plan to Control Everything in Your Life, from StopTheCrime.net. In my previous video, I discussed one way the global elite are controlling us, and that is through patents on intellectual property. Patents on intellectual property was essentially implemented during Bill Clinton's terms as president, not surprisingly. Americans for Innovation and American Intelligence Media blogs also brought this info forward and into the light. The next part of that article is about the Internet of Things and this shady character, Richard Walker. According to this article that I'm quoting from, we recently uncovered U.S. patent numbers that were awarded in 2005 to the inventor Richard C. Walker, and that has to do with the PFN and the TRAC system of FAA upgrades. While the patent focuses on aircraft, it is written so broadly as to encompass all kinds of equipment and devices, including people defined as wetware. While the patent was issued on November 15, 2005, it incorporates filings going all the way back to December 2, 1996. Most patents incorporate provisional patents and related technology upon which they rely. AFI and American Intelligence Media researchers catalog those claims for this patent below. Several critical pieces of information emerge. First, these patents to remotely control vehicles started being filed within 2 months of the passage of the Economic Espionage Act of 1996 during Bill Clinton's first term. The EEA was written by law professor James P. Chandler III. Robert Mueller, James Comey, Rod Rosenstein, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Larry Summers were strategically positioned at the top of the Justice Department and Treasury. The patentee, Richard C. Walker, could have patented a ham sandwich had this group wanted it. Second, the evident intent of the Walker patent was to illustrate the technology planned for control of everything, the Internet of Things. Their justification? The benevolent control of vehicles and aircraft in hijacked situations was merely the cover story for the development of a global surveillance grid on everyone and everything. Given the timing of these Walker filings around September 11th, one is increasingly skeptical about who really caused 9/11. Third, Robert S. Mueller's law firm, WilmerHale LLP, formerly Hale and Dorr LLP, drove Walker's filings. Mueller was sworn in as FBI director just 7 days prior to 9/11. This clearly implicates WilmerHale in the treachery. Fourth, the global data sharing platform described in the patent was not doable by the likes of IBM, Microsoft, Boeing, AT&T, and Cisco. They were all behind the curve from an R&D perspective when the Internet emerged. For example, Bill Gates thought it was a fad. The telephone pager network that Walker described could not scale to the volumes required for such global communication. James P. Chandler surely could not believe his luck when in early 2000, Michael McKibben of Leader Technologies was first introduced to him. Leader was looking for the best patent attorney in the country to protect its social networking innovations. Chandler, on the other hand, needed a fix for the deep state's ailing digital takeover master plan. He agreed immediately to be Leader's patent attorney. He then spent the next 3 years deceiving Leader until he was able to get his hands on the underlying engineering source code, which he immediately shuffled to the IBM Eclipse Foundation, where DOJ's Eric Holder and IBM's David Capos were waiting, along with Cisco, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, Kleiner Perkins, Qualcomm, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, AT&T, and a host of other rogue CIA providers. Leader's source code was essential to building the Internet of Things quickly. The patent filings included the PFN TRAC system, FAA. The eventual patent focused on remote control of aircraft, but also subsumed control of vehicles, ships, equipment, commerce, education, and people. And as you can see, the table shows the patent filings, which include the filing date, the filing number, the title, and the attorney or law firm who filed it. Did Walker really invent all of these patents? Walker is a geek scientist who has worked inside the bowels of Hewlett-Packard and Agilent Technologies his entire career. We do not believe that Walker is the sole inventor. The sheer breadth of global policy perspectives incorporated in these documents shows a collective policy mind. Our hunch is that they are derived from the illegal Highlands Group that has been secretly convened since late 1994 by the Department of Defense to begin coordinating the deep state takeover of the Internet. According to Walker's resume, he was a principal staff scientist at Hewlett-Packard for 21 years, from January 1981 to 2002. Since 2002, he has been a senior R&D electrical engineer at Agilent Technologies, for whom he continues to file patents. Walker has consistently failed to disclose his Klein & Walker LLC company that claims ownership of this 170-page total global surveillance Internet of Things patent, even though he assigned the patent to Klein & Walker LLC, a defunct company, in November of 2005. Patent Office records show that at least until November 15, 2005, when the patent was awarded, Klein & Walker LLC was still the owner or assignee. This information alone shows fraud on the court or inequitable conduct, since the official company records in both Maryland and Delaware show that Klein & Walker LLC was long defunct for non-payment of taxes. Remarkably, he does not show his employers, HP or Agilent Technologies, as the assignee, which is what one would normally expect to see from such a large volume of work. Corporations rarely, almost never, allow an employee to file for patents that are not assigned to the company. State corporate records show that Klein & Walker LLC was formed in Delaware on August 6, 1998, then 20 days later in Maryland on August 26, 1998. These records also show that these companies did not pay any taxes and were both closed after the statutory waiting period. Therefore, Klein & Walker LLC appears to be a fake company running interference for the true inventors, which they think are the Highlands Group. Such conduct, if true, is called inequitable conduct in patent law. Patents are not permitted to disguise material contributors. Okay, that is a lot of information that I just quoted from this article, and a lot of huge information, in my opinion, on how they exactly planned to take over and control everything through the Internet of Things. And I really believe that we should be looking more into patents. I did some videos on the patent technology and also on the BEI sensor, and I will try to include those in the description box. Wow is what I can say to all this. Just wow. Agilent Technologies is evidently a deep state surveillance supplier. Walker's current employer, Agilent Technologies, was a spin-off of Hewlett-Packard that went public on November 18, 1999. That was only a week after Bill Clinton and his Treasury Secretary, Larry Summers, abolished Glass-Steagall. Summers' chief of staff then was Sheryl K. Sandberg, the subsequent creator of Gmail, 2004, and the current chief operating officer of Facebook, 2008 to current. Another Summers employee then was Marn L. Levine. Levine, who married disgraced CIA Director John M. Deutsch's son, and is now Chief Operating Officer at Instagram. Deutsch was pardoned by Bill Clinton on the same day as Mark Rich. It's truly a cozy little world at the top of the criminal Internet of Things. Agilent raised $2.1 billion and was the largest Silicon Valley public offering ever at the time. The usual globalist shadow government suspects were the Agilent underwriters, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Credit Suisse, JP Morgan, and etc. The insider trading is evident. To put the Agilent Technologies and Hewlett-Packard actions in context, on July 14, 1999, President Bill Clinton formed the National Intellectual Property Assurance Council, or the NIAC, by Executive Order number 13130 with James P. Chandler III. A few months later, on September 29, 1999, President Bill Clinton formed the In-Q-Tel to run a rogue CIA private venture capital company in Silicon Valley. A few weeks later, on November 12, 1999, Bill Clinton and Larry Summers, Clinton's Treasury Secretary and Chandler's Harvard colleague, abolished Glass-Steagall market protections separating underwriting and banking. Evidently, Agilent Technologies and Hewlett-Packard are key suppliers to the Internet of Things. That is a lot of info. I would encourage everyone to go to stopthecrime.net. They do a wonderful job of giving additional links to all of these articles, and there are many more articles. This is just one. So it's definitely worth going and seeing. We are going to continue on this article because it has been so informative, and I'm very interested to get through the rest of it. So in the next video, we will pick up on this very same article and just go forward. And I hope you will join me.